2 minutes to go. One minute. You're going there on the wide first, and then we're going to go to the 30 seconds. $20 seconds. Stand by, boys. Four, three, 2, 1 to the bumper, and we are on the bumper.
I put it like wow, this that sound. These oaks don't work hard like me, I hope they know by now. Bayo Bab, stand my ground. Throw these money trees, go overseas like Percy Tau. I'll make sure you stay around, quiet when I'm on the loud. No negatives allowed, me positivity took a vow. I always play to win, don't anticipate loss.
And then
Mind always in the clown, boy. Never think about the drop, never ever think about the drop.
Welcome to it, sports fans. It is the MKT Show. It is Friday. Let me tell you something about South Africans. South Africans right now have, of course, already booked those mysterious external meetings, which it's such a shocker. They're happening at a pub that's 20 kilometers away from the office. It's an absolute shock. About half of the employment staff have these incredible meetings where they're going to sign the biggest deal of the year, because it's a long weekend this weekend. Let me just tell you about South Africans. So as the young kids say, people are out here. People are out here today. We got the long weekend coming up. It is Women's Day on, is it Monday or Sunday? It could be either. I don't know if the correct thing is to say Happy Women's Day. I mean, if you're happy, it'll be fine. If you're not happy, it'll just be another day. So it's Women's Day is how I'm going to announce it. My name's MKT. This is the MKT Show. I'm joined by two human beings who may or may not be happy as well. I don't know what happens in their personal life. I do not. I do like both of them though. Firstly, the most Portuguese human being in South Africa. He's the president of all things Portuguese. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Paulo Diaz. Paulo, what's happening, Paul?
I think I'm actually going to be in a Portuguese business publication tomorrow.
That's a shocker.
I think so. First Saturday of August.
Really?
Yes.
Tell me everything.
Well, I don't know. I don't know how I got in that. This is when when you pimp yourself on LinkedIn, people find you. Yes, and they interviewed me as inspiring Portuguese in different industries.
Oh my! Are you kidding me?
That's me. That's where I'm going to be.
Hashtag the Diaz effect. Yeah.
Hey?
Did you go? They need to push it.
That's what they did. It's good. Listen, I mean, it's embarrassing.
Yeah.
But they're going to drag it behind an airplane on a banner like that.
Look at you, eh?
It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. But I mean, what are you
you've
going to
been
do?
modest.
That's tough. It's tough. Listen, tough to be humble when you know you're the finest.
Yeah, bro.
I've always said that. Paulo, you're looking good, Paul. Good to have you here. The world football has just exploded after what happened last night. I went to sleep and everything was fine.
I was about to go to sleep, and then this happened, and then I had to find out what's going on so I could bring the latest up-to-date information before we start playing fantasy football and soiling our pants.
Absolutely.
So what's the story?
Absolutely.
Who's bluffing?
The story behind the story. Eh?
Yeah, listen, the handsome face next to Paulo, St. David's finest, Inanda's finest, Senzo Stebo. What is going on, Paul? Football is exploding.
Bro, it's broken, bro. It's broken now. Everybody's making a plan. Even those who can't afford it, they're making a plan.
Lay by.
It's
bro.
Calling everybody.
I'm telling you. How are you feeling today?
Great, man. Great,
all right.
You know.
Boys, great to have you here. We're talking Man City, Messi, Grealish. It's all going on right now. We'll talk to Flip Vanamava. This time we'll have him on for real. Around 1 o'clock. He's scheduled to join us, so that's going to be fun. Hey, there's also something else that's happening this weekend. The Box and the Lions. That happens every 12 years. We got to deliver this weekend, so we'll talk about to flip, and then we'll end off with a little social media. It is a Friday. We'll have some fun, and we'll have a good time. All of that and more coming up after this.
Holding screen. Back in 15 seconds. All right, everybody's ready. Let's go in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
Well, welcome back to it. Listen, as I do every Friday, though, before we get into all of that hot action, of course, is that I will give you the Friday 5. You know, I don't want to disappoint people. You know, they call me the postman, and the reason for that, Senzo, before you ask, is because I deliver.
Oh, yes?
All right. I mean, I'm just saying. I'm saying what's happening. That's what the people are saying. I don't really want to get into it. You know, with the Grealish move, guys, obviously that's big news. That's big news. I thought I'd give us the greatest English midfielders, central midfielders, of certainly the Premier League generation. That's important to hear because I've left out a man with the original peroxide hair for this reason. So the 5 greatest English central midfielders, which is where Jack Grealish operates at his best in that number 10 role, but I think he's a little more than that as Jack Grealish. But the greatest central midfielders that are English over the last, what is it now, 22 years, whatever it may be, the Premier League. All right, let's get into it. At number 5, listen, he was a metronome in probably Fergie's most dominant era in the history of the Premier League. They were dominant in the 90s and noughties, but this was actually a guy who got it done. He was a metronome, 5 English Premier League titles. He was the safety blanket, right? He never said a thing. He was dead quiet, but he was that guy, the perfect. I always thought of him as the Angela Merkel of midfielders. Whatever you needed, he did it. Do you need someone to pass the ball on time? He'll do it. The right back ever is overlapped, don't worry about it. He's not the fastest, he's in the right place. Really, the poor man's Sergio Busquets, but some player, human metronome. At number 5, for me, it's Michael Carrick. He'll never get the credit, he'll never get the plaudits. He's not flashy, he's not hitting it from 30 yards. But he's what you need. He's the Angela Merkel in the background. I'm doing what you don't want to do so you can go and enjoy your life skiing in the Black Forest in Stuttgart. He is magnificent, and for me, an all-timer. At number 4, he's got no titles, but you would have to be some sort of special hater to not recognize that he carried a city for 15 years. A leader, I don't really want to get into his stats, but a passer, goals, and really the essence of Liverpool, not just the football club, but the city. A great human being. At number 4, the great Steven Gerrard. He is an all-timer. You don't need to love Liverpool, because that's hard for everybody, but you can't deny greatness. You will not deny greatness. So at number 3, Paul Ince, by the way. Just an all-timer. The governor. He's called the governor. He was so good. All I needed was those 2 titles that he's got. All action and really underrated. I mean, the Italians appreciate him because he's actually a bit of a technical maestro. You might say Clarence Seedorf just before Clarence Seedorf. An unbelievable player. Just everything you want. The governor at number 3, Paul Ince. At number 2, he's the second best of Fergie's kids. All of those kids, you remember the 6 or 7 famous kids? He's the second best of those. 11 Premier League titles. He's so good. Let me tell you how good this guy was. He went into retirement. Man United had a 19-year-old guy called Paul Pogba. Fergie said, get the hell out of here. I'm going to bring this guy out of retirement. We're struggling in the league. He took them to the league. That's how good he was. He was about 400 at that time. But when you got the technique and the passing, you don't need to run around. The great Zinedine Zidane said, after being asked, why do you never chase back? He said, I never lose the ball. This was the guy for England. He was unplayable. Quite frankly, let's be honest. Shafted by England, shafted by Sven. He's better than Steven Gerrard. I do not understand these morons back in the day who thought he should be shunted to the left. At number 2, the all-time England guy, the all-time England passer. And Xavi and Iniesta apparently used to ask, what's it like to play with Paul Scholes? If that isn't a seal of approval, I don't know. At number 2, he's the guy. Tiny little redhead guy. Honestly, he should be a computer programmer. Forget about the greatest midfielder maybe Man United have ever had. An all-timer. At number 1, I don't want to waste time here. Listen, when you play the 8 role, some people play in like an 8-10 where they don't really drop back. When you go box to box, and in a career you have the 4th most assists, you have the 5th most goals. In the history of the Premier League, that has included all of them. Count the Henry, count whoever you want. Count all of the strikers. Folks, I didn't want to waste time. He is given this name because it's exactly what he is. And it's not because I support this football club. But you just cannot deny when you lay it down, you've never seen anything like the one and only Super Frank Lampard. You have, the output is what's important at this level. That level of output is unmatched. Look, even if he was a striker, he's the 5th best according to what strikers should do. Ever. That's insane. That is insane in this league. But then he's given me the 4th most assists as well. I've told you what the greatest ability is of all time. It's availability. And nobody has been an Iron Man like him or David James. Frank Lampard, the greatest. Not because I love him, but because look at their numbers. Nobody's been that. The 5 greatest English midfielders of all time. Michael Carrick at number 5. Steven Gerrard at number 4. Paul Ince at number 3. Paul Scholes at number 2. Frank Lampard, unmatched, at number 1 for me. Those are the greatest in the Premier League era. Not necessarily England's best, but certainly for me in the Premier League era that are able to wear the 3 lions on their chest. I don't know if you can make. I don't know if you guys have anyone to add in there who didn't get in from England.
I had a moment when you said Carrick was. I thought you said Carrick was like Meghan Markle.
Oh no!
I was like, Carrick never tried to bring down the royal family from the inside. It's like it took me a second to come back with that. I appreciate the Carrick nod. I've got to be honest. You know, Carrick doesn't get the credit because he's not all action. He does things that I don't necessarily think English football fans appreciate.
Yeah.
If Carrick was Italian or Carrick was Spanish, I mean, that guy would be spoken about like Pirlo is.
But he said, like, it's the poor man's Busquets. And
He is.
same thing.
You're a super bright footballer.
Yeah.
Like really intelligent, really so not English.
Well, he left Tottenham. That's how you know he's smart. Early as well.
Yeah.
No, but you're dead right. I mean, he's the Sergio Busquets. He was Fergie's Busquets. And I'd even say I'd liken him probably more to like a mesh between Busquets and sort of Pirlo, because as much as I like Busquets, Carrick had the long ball as well. That proper diagonal is if you get open,
But he learned
quarterback.
from Scholes, dog.
Oh yeah, listen.
Sat nav.
And where do you think Declan Rice ends his career in this list?
I'm not into Declan Rice. I'm still not sure what he does.
He's good.
What is he doing? Is he
the real
is he
thing.
like is he the Makelele type? Is he? Because I still didn't like his. Where's the distribution? Because I thought maybe
His distribution is weak. I think
He's a
everything else
centre-back.
about his positioning's good.
Yeah.
His his reading of the game's good, but yeah, that passing and at his age, you don't get better now.
That's my
He doesn't
issue.
improve it,
Is like it's not enough for me just to do that holding role anymore. Like a lot of people forget why Claude Makelele was so special. Yes, obviously the awareness that you're talking about that Carrick had, but Makelele's ability to release with the technique, to release the ball early when you needed it,
Yeah.
that's important,
And
right?
even to evade that first tackle and just break the line, and suddenly the game's turned.
Unmatched.
And Declan, can you take? And you know what? Sometimes as well is that he's comfortable now at West Ham, and so everything will get overlooked because there's probably plenty where the ball's not getting there. He's picked the wrong passes. Everybody's so into Declan Rice now. When he gets his Man City, Chelsea move, now that you can't hide there, you know. Like Jorginho, I think has found out at Chelsea that as much as
a
Italians
passenger.
love you, is that
He's a passenger.
because we can babysit you at West Ham.
Yeah.
We can play another midfielder with you. Jorginho has really found out at Chelsea, and I'm sorry, but it's like when we leave you alone, oh no, N'Golo Kante now can't go box to box. He has to babysit you.
Yeah.
And at that level, we just can't.
Absolutely.
And I just worry that Declan Rice, that limitation of passing, now what, I got to play a deep distributor so you can give it to him. But I don't know. I'm not into him yet. And he is a Chelsea sort of graduate and taken to West Ham. I don't know if he makes that list, Paulo, because all of these guys, I'm trying to find his high end is probably what? In the defensive mid role, would you say? Like
Yeah.
Hargreaves? Is he better than Hargreaves?
Nah.
Because Hargreaves was stunning besides the fact that he couldn't get injured.
Yeah.
What would you say? Just like in that holding role, would he be Hargreaves?
I think he's going to be Jordan Henderson, maybe.
Yeah. If he's lucky.
That's a good comparison.
If he's lucky.
And then he wins. Maybe he wins the Passion Award like Henderson.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
leadership.
The shouting award. Shouting award for contribution.
So yeah, I love Carrick. I couldn't leave Gerrard out. Like I honestly, I did my best as I was compiling the list. I was like, I have to find a way to leave him out. But very few have carried a city like him.
Dude.
And the credit for him, right, is that he was in a tosh team for a while till Xabi Alonso joined him. I mean, Dietmar Hamann and sort of these Smitzers and these guys that were around.
Yeah.
And Danny Murphy, like, okay, Stevie, how did you still get 100 goals with that mess around? You know? So I had to put him on the list.
He's the guy, though.
Maybe my emotions got into it. Paolo, your thoughts on Stevie G without your Man United hat on?
No, listen, you can't deny what a good midfielder that guy was. I mean, he was everything. I mean, in his pomp, like that real key, 2005,
2006.
Round about there. I mean, probably the
unplayable.
best in the world at
He was
that
unplayable.
point.
He was doing it, eh?
Best in the
I
world
see the Istanbul game. If you want to see Steven Gerrard's best game for Liverpool, go watch the FA Cup final 2006.
That's the one. Okay, sorry. That's the one. I thought you were going to say the Istanbul final, where he was so ill-disciplined that Benitez had to put him on right back to stop him ruining and his plans, right? And I love
West Ham final.
That's the
FA
one.
Cup.
He smashed that equalizer.
He did everything.
He did everything in that game.
He did everything.
I think that's what always go against Gerrard in a way, is that goes, you can admire a player. So a lot of the other players that you mentioned in there made everyone else around them better. Okay, all of them. I think if you go through, Ince had to take a back seat, but Ince in his pomp was making gigs and Lee Sharp better. He has a great support to Cantona. Scholes made everyone better. Carrick made everyone better. Lampard made his team better. Gerrard made himself better.
Stevie me.
Yeah.
He never took it upon. He said, if I have to save a game, I've got to do everything, not I'll facilitate everything.
Yeah.
And I think that'll always be the criticism of going, he had to do it himself. Where all the others in this list made everyone around them better. And I think their titles speak to that.
Absolutely.
The fact that they did win league titles where Gerrard is remembered as a multiple. And Gerrard is remembered as like a, himself glorious, where the other guys were part of glorious teams.
And listen, that counts. Like I always tell people, is we're in a team sport here. He's not playing tennis. It's like he made the decision. Also at that level, you make that decision. By the way, there were probably plenty of signings where they'd consult him and he probably didn't like it. I'm not saying that's true, but he chose to become the God figure. You choose that.
Absolutely.
Right? And when you make it about you, it's like LeBron James, right? I love LeBron, but he's now chosen that I run everything. So LeBron must get all the credit. Because you're not really like faithful to anyone. You're more faithful to yourself.
Absolutely.
You get all the credit and you get all the downside. So
sounds a little bit like the show, gotta be honest.
Oh yes, right.
Look at that,
Bruno.
Well, I get all the credit. I've never done anything wrong, and that's a good place to be as a person. Just so you guys know.
For sure.
Paul Ince, you don't get the nickname Governor.
Well,
you
don't get the nickname Governor unless you give it to yourself.
That as well. But you know what he reminds me of? His sort of that level of intensity, he reminds me of Jaap Stam. It's like, Jaap Stam, all I needed to see were those, like, I think he played, 70 games? But it's just like, oh my God, that's terrifying what I'm looking at there. Especially, I mean, like you said, he unleashed Cantona and Giggs and all of the kids. And it was just like a one-man show for 2 years in the midfield there.
And he was a modern midfield. He was the first of the modern midfielders. I think out of that sort of like clunky midfielder of the early 90s, he was the first one that like lent to going, wow, you can be a really intelligent, technically proficient footballer in midfield, but still be a bastard. It was Paul Ince was, and I think that's what I loved about it. Smooth as looked like this guy.
Yeah.
Looked like this guy, but would smack you in half if you had the chance.
I still love that
Big
photo.
time, Charlie.
I love that photo where he's got the blood.
The headband.
Was that was at Euros? Eh?
Was
that the Gaza
qualifier.
Euro?
It was a
Or was it a
qualifier.
It was the qualifier where against Italy. England had a major qualifier against Italy. It was like a battle of Rome.
But that told you everything.
And I think
he
he
was.
captained England. Was the first black man to captain England. And he dragged England to Which World Cup? The 98 World
98,
Cup.
yeah. That's how you got them there, yeah.
What a guy. What a guy. At number 2, the most shafted guy for me in the history of, like, England. What are you doing? Like, I like Steven Gerrard. But we could all see, like...
Mr. Satnav.
Like, just put that... Who's that redhead there?
By the way, it was...
They played him at left wing.
That's what I'm saying.
By the way, it was Beckham when he got to Real Madrid. Zidane and Figo asked him, what's it like to play with Paul Scholes? Zidane and Figo.
But we could all see at Man United, like, wait, who's this guy?
Bro.
And these are in the great United teams. Like,
That's why
wait a
I
minute.
feel like you never shouted at the guy.
Even,
Yellow card or not, like, Figo's like, nah, leave that guy alone, bro.
and gigs, the guys would get rotated every now and then when new people came in. This little number 18. 11 titles.
You stay put, bro.
And shafted. Like, Sven, what are you doing? Because that's where having also Sven, who wants to be a celebrity guy, is you probably needed a Capello.
Yeah.
Was that, oh, no, listen, we need the best team. Forget about the best individuals. There's no way Steven Gerrard is better than... On what planet is Steven Gerrard even in the same breath as
But
Paul
my
Scholes?
thing is that, like, with that, like, okay, so that Steven Gerrard Lampard thing. So, like, would you have sacrificed one of them for Scholes?
Gerrard, you're out.
Out.
No, Gerrard's out. Like, for me, why is it even a conversation?
Yeah.
Paul Scholes is in a different echelon to Steven Gerrard. I'm sorry. When you look at the footballing
Not even
picture,
close. It's not even close, dude.
you know, if we're realistic, the most ruthless person in the history of English football
It's Finn.
is Sir Alex Ferguson, right?
well, yeah,
no,
yeah.
I mean, like, he's not tolerating anybody in that team to see how quickly Cantona can be spat out, Beckham can be spat out.
Cantona retired. That's different.
But even then, what happened? Kept winning. When I say it's like Fergie's like, everybody,
keeps going.
Cantona. What are you talking about?
Keeps going.
Beckham, Spice Boy stuff. Jopstam, maybe the best in the world. Ruud van Nistelrooy. So you know he's not tolerating even his own kids. I mean, look how easily he let go of Nicky Butt.
Yeah.
And people love Nicky. The hell out of here. Newcastle, you're not playing anyway, and I don't need to hear. And you're one of my kids. So my point is this, right? Is that Paul Scholes wasn't being tolerated. He was always in for a reason.
Yeah.
Now that tells you at the sharp end, if Fergie's saying that's the bedrock, England, what are you doing? Like Steven Gerrard is the bedrock to a mid-table team.
But they say every England manager after Sven, like, try to bring Scholes out of retirement there, and he was just like, nah.
Because you know what, guys?
It was hot though.
It was hot.
It was hot. I think he didn't like playing summer tournaments. I got to be honest.
No, that's true.
And his best tournament for England, wasn't it? Where was his best? It was a Calder World Cup.
98. What would he have been in 98, 94?
Anyway,
Euros or whatever.
I think it was just hot. I think Paul Scholes like De Bruyne.
Yeah.
I think they just get very hot.
They get warm. They do have
very
that
hot
skin.
in summer. Very, very hot.
They do have those attributes.
Now they used to say, like, they used to go, like, at Carrington, they used to go for
very hot.
Let's say you go.
It's very hot. That's a very sorry. Don't make light. It's very tactical, astute analysis there.
It does get hot.
It gets very hot.
Yeah, Paul, what
Paul
happened?
Scholes. It's got hot. It was hot. And he's asthmatic.
Oh my God.
That's why he doesn't run.
No, but that's the thing. Is he asthmatic?
Yeah.
But he's
That's
got
why
that
he
look.
doesn't run, yeah.
Do you know what he looks like?
He doesn't look like like De Bruyne. They don't look like athletes.
Yeah.
No.
De Bruyne, I think, probably,
But Pep says De Bruyne. He says he knows De Bruyne is tired when it's a
he
bit
goes,
red.
You could see a couple of times in the Euro, there was like, depending where Belgium were playing, there were a couple of times where he started, or like looking like the little ribbon there on your trophy. It's like,
Yes.
oh, De Bruyne is done. He's
Yeah.
out. Sub him.
You know what they... Scholes more than anyone. Scholes actually looks like the IT manager at a mall. Do you know what I'm talking about?
The short sleeve shirt.
Yeah, he looks like that. How's it, guys? You guys, you need some
You guys,
help.
And he knows how to work the touch screen displays.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
knows how to program.
Oh,
Store
man.
moved. I know how to do that.
man.
He
But have
does.
you seen him as a pundit? As like,
No,
He's just angry.
he shouldn't be on TV.
Again, hot. These lights are hot for him.
Yeah.
True.
Can't do
But
it.
maybe that's why he can't talk.
Paul Scholes just hot.
That, let's say you go to go relieve yourself at Carrington, 60 yards away. Paul Scholes would be like, yeah, hit you back of the head, back of the back, back of the bum.
But it's England's fault. I'm sorry. Number one, what was Sven doing as the England manager?
Just party time. It was nice, bro.
What is it
Nice
like?
style, bro.
That's like making me the CEO of
And then you're
Investec.
Beck's captain. What do you think is going on there?
Sven's stock was so high because, I mean, he was Ferguson's replacement at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That when Ferguson announced his retirement, What? How did he do that?
He failed at Lazio after they, remember, was he the manager when they broke world records for Guys Gamandieta?
And they won that. He had Varane, and they won the league.
Yeah.
He won that league.
Yeah.
And he had also dragged Benfica to a few, I think the Champions League, to a few titles, did quite well in the European Cup before they rebranded. So his stock was quite high. But to be England captain and second and like Fergie's replacement.
No.
I
No.
Now
Hi,
that
bro.
that guy has got the definition of, it must be very nice. Because now he takes these consultant jobs in Thailand and Manila and doing the Manilan FA and but he finds these weird little tropical jobs
like-
around the world.
And he's that guy though, because I remember when he got divorced from his wife and he was just like with a model.
Ah, he's
Like
just
Sven is
having-
exactly that
having
guy.
it.
Yeah. What's he doing in charge of Ashley Cole? Like Ashley Cole, John Terry. No. And England said, Paul Scholes. Am I
Just
the only
fun,
person
man.
who finds it hysterical? Like like every good person, I hate Manchester United. But am I the only person who finds it hysterical that people still mention Steven Gerrard and Paul Scholes in the same breath?
But
And I don't mean to be funny. Like Paulo, like
we know the truth. We don't need to tell you the truth. We know the truth.
But it wasn't just Sven, it was a whole bunch of them. And it was also like a tactical thing because you weren't playing yet. Like everyone is indoctrinated to play 4-4-2. And just remember at the time, Shearer and Owen, and then Shearer and Rooney.
yeah.
Like, how do you start breaking that
Owen-
up
you
on
mean
Owen
Owen
and
and
Rooney? And, so how do you start breaking that up? Who do you sacrifice? Lampard and Gerrard will run all day.
Yeah.
And Beckham, they will run all day in that. So Scholes, where does he go? I mean, ideally, because you couldn't have played, no one was playing the three in the middle then.
Yeah.
Ideally, you would have played those three in the middle with Scholes in 10 and the two up front.
No,
But it
I'm
was
saying
just-
Gerrard out. You've got Lampard, which is the upgrade on Gerrard.
But you know what? Gerrard ran all day, and I think that counts for a lot.
In the English setup.
It does, because he would run all day. He would just
But Lampard runs all
very
day.
indisciplined, but he would run all day.
But Lampard runs. My point is, what would you need both of them running all day?
You know what I think it is, but it's quite funny because we may talk about City and Grealish and having, this thing, a nice problem to have. I don't believe there's any such thing. A nice problem to have is a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So how
true.
do you take these midfielders? Oh, what a nice problem to have. It goes,
Yeah.
no, but that is a problem.
Yeah.
And there's
Who do I
just
show
too
off?
much choice, yeah.
Who do I show off?
And you try to put everyone in, and then you
spoil the broth. It's like
some
it's-
losers a few years later on a beautiful set,
Yeah.
but have this conversation
Session.
about you making bad decisions as England manager.
Great set. I've never done anything with my life
Fantastic
close to what Sven's done. So, I mean, I'm still going to have an opinion on him. You better believe it. I mean,
Absolutely, but he failed the.
come
he
on.
failed.
Failed himself.
He failed.
No, Sven does
Failed
not do.
big time.
Sven right now
Yeah.
is lying somewhere so warm.
And it's not too hot like Scholes, hey? He's got a stronger mentality than Paul
In a
Scholes.
Speedo.
Hey,
With something that's nice to look at. Or
Oil.
someone that's nice to look at.
you know,
Sven is oily right now.
oily somewhere with the European. You know how we've got the American style board shorts? Have you ever seen like the swim trunks the Europeans
Yeah.
wear? Like those. And by the way, I've walked into
obnoxious,
shops
eh?
in Paris. How much these things cost?
They're
Just
obnoxious.
like it's like about 10,000 rand. So about 1,000 euros gets you pants that don't exist, and they're your swimming trunks. Sven is somewhere with that, with
Oily.
15 models. Oily. How oily?
So oily. Like,
with the hamburger.
if
with
he had
the
a,
hamburger meats,
Oh,
you
no.
know he's doing it.
if he had to sit on this
Slick
chair,
back hair,
he's
you
just
know he's done. Bro. Slick back hair, you
the
know
man
he's done.
cannot sit in a leather chair.
Oh, he's done with
Just
it.
He
sliding.
needs Velcro or something. He needs some sort of fabric holding him.
Yeah.
So oily right
So
now.
oily Sven, hey?
God.
Yeah, and then at number one, I mean, people are going to say it's because I'm a Chelsea fan, but I'm sorry, I'm in the game of output, gentlemen. I'm in the game of output. It's like, talk to me about, I still find it difficult to read. Like, fourth most assists, fifth most goals. Like, Aguero just pipped him now in his last season. Frank Lampard is, you know what I love about Lampard? You could put him in any system. I think certain people, and we saw it with probably Scholes, like you're saying, is maybe Scholes in a 2, you reduce some of his, the Leo Messi effect. I just want to stand up front. Although, I don't know, I don't want to disrespect Paul Scholes. I hold him in the highest order. But Frank Lampard works anywhere. And technique, left, right, I'll run. Technical, I'll take the set pieces.
Technically is a phenomenal player. The way he hit a football was, and so many of his goals were so similar that arriving late, and the way he had hit it, almost like it's played wasn't. He's a little bit, well, I mean, the thing of Fat Frank, but he was born with admiration for that, and it goes like to get himself to your point. It is like, wow, that's striking.
Super Frank.
Even if he was a striker, he'd be the. And he was.
Record goal scorer. Like that should tell you something.
From mid, and he was a genuine 8. Like there's none of this Mesut Ozil.
Dude, he was getting you 20 goals in the league consistently every season. Like it's ridiculous.
No.
You know, everyone spoke of Yaya Toure's season where he broke the 20-goal mark, right? And that was rolling out of bed for Frank Lampard. Man.
So Frank Lampard did it like for fun.
And you know, a great list. I mean, you really, for me, those 5 for me live in a special place in the Premier League. Like I struggle to even think of anybody else who's English in that. And Michael Carrick, he needs to get his love. Can I be honest with you? I was going to put Carrick above Gerrard, and I just thought, okay, look, let me take that out. I could easily put Carrick above Gerrard. If you asked me to pick a team, I'd probably pick Carrick above Gerrard. Yeah. But just looking at it as an individually is. Stevie G shouldn't have slipped, mate. So,
Stevie me.
Don't slip. Denver Bar's going to score, and then now your dreams are over. Shouldn't have done that. Yeah, that's going to cost you as well on my list. That's why Paul Ince is above you, I'm saying. Yeah. All right, that's good stuff. Those are the people who are very good at football in the middle of the park for England. Listen, love to hear your list. Cliff C Sport on the tweet monster. Hashtag new set who dis. That dis is with a D-I-S because we with it, as the young kids say. Ladies and gentlemen, the MKT Show, much more coming up after this. This is something Lewis could do.
He is by no means qualified to open a fashion label. I saw a photo of him this weekend arriving at the track, and it hurt my eyes. He was walking with his dog, and he was wearing these weird black and green gumboots. It was
James, maybe fashion is not for you.
It's definitely not. James comes to work every day in sweatpants and a hoodie.
Green gumboots. Where is the fashion?
You're not on the cutting edge, bro. He lives in Monaco. You live in Johannesburg.
Exactly.
Like who the hell? This is the world melting down. The proletariat daring to tell Sir Lewis Hamilton how to dress. It's unbelievable. Yeah.
My favorite so far was his camo dungarees. I quite like those.
Hey, Lewis is doing it, by the way. He is. You'll either love him or hate him. There is no in between. But
Welcome back to a show that you know you're watching. I'm still not sure why presenters say they show. If people are watching the show, they know what show they're on. I've never understood this. So welcome back to this show that you have chosen to watch today. You've made an active, sort of democratic decision, I guess. You're able to make an individual decision because we live in the liberal West. You know what I'm saying, Senzo?
Yeah. Wait, before we go into anything, I'm just looking at the comments and Sam Shapiro.
Yes.
Don't bring it here. Like, we all know Gerard is the poor man's Paul Scholes, so like get that out of here.
So you being triggered by the comment
I'm
section?
being triggered. Like like I'm a closet scouser. No, you got a better chance of winning the lottery, mate.
I like it. You know what I like?
Jog on.
See, it's tricky for me. I'm not sure if I like you or your energy right now,
Huh?
but both are confusing me. So I'm going to go with I like you because I like what you're doing right now.
Of course you like
You're not going to have anything. You're going to
What?
get the elbow right in
What?
there.
Scousers.
Yeah.
I'll take it from anybody. Scousers. Jog on, man.
Not today, huh?
Jog on.
Paulo, you like, Paulo hangs out with all the bigwigs, you know? He's like, he is the Angela Merkel. He's got that
He's the
personality.
guy.
He's just doing stuff and like nobody knows really what Paulo's doing. Paulo, you go to these yuppie big time meetings and you've been on massive shows. He's produced all sorts of
he's the
shows.
guy.
I mean, I don't want to go on about it, but Paulo, I don't understand why people say the show that they're on, like, welcome back to the, I've been doing it, but people know what show they're watching.
Well, how can they not? There's a big blurring sign in front
You know what bothers me more is that when people go, we'll be back right after these, or let's go pay some bills.
Yes.
Which basically tells people, now the whole thing that keeps that thing running are those advertisers. But it basically goes, oh, well, stop listening now while the things that pay our bills run. It's like nobody wants ads,
Yes.
but it's a necessary evil.
Yes.
But when people go, oh, we'll be back right after these, or go make some tea, we're back after these. But that defeats the whole business model.
Exactly.
It's like Barcelona's president is running radio advertising.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
that bothers me.
I need to find a better way to go to breaks as well. Like, this is not just a sports show. We're going to teach people stuff, is that we can improve. And
Absolutely.
Well, apparently people can hear the guys in the background on the mics. I mean,
that's
no, but I like that. It's very meta.
I see what you mean.
It's like sort of like a show within a show.
I know what you're saying.
It's like Seinfeld meets Curb Your Enthusiasm. You know,
I like that. Next level.
that's what
Next
we're
level.
at.
You know what it is, actually? I've always said for those who believe in God, is God's practical joke on coaches is a goalkeeper player. You know, because really what you want is a goalkeeper who he doesn't want to be in the limelight.
Exactly.
You know,
that's
like,
his job.
Guys like Fabian Barthez are God's
my
practical joke
but
on managers.
But like, didn't he do a bit of the sniffle? So
No,
like,
but he was everything, right?
was unhinged there.
He's trying to dribble
unhinged.
guys.
You're triggering me.
He's doing Cruyff turns.
What? What are you doing?
He wants to take free kicks.
Yeah, I'm a World Cup winner. Like, don't worry.
And he
Ferguson must have been like, what did I just get myself into?
And he wasn't really that good either.
No.
Like, exactly. And he was short.
At that stuff. So, you know, when you see Edison like that, you know, I've seen Edison play and the guy can play. The guys could
they
play.
jam.
I don't think he could play Premier League level outfield, but the guy can play. And most goalkeepers can.
Yeah.
Barthez wasn't even that good.
Yeah.
I remember there was a preseason friendly where at halftime he played out.
Do you know what happened? I'll
not
tell
that
you. I'll tell you how we got conned into Barthez. Do you know why? Because Barthez used to play with Laurent Blanc, and Laurent Blanc used to do Marseille turns like in the box, and then he had him in France, and he had him at United, and you think he could, and then Laurent Blanc left, and then we saw Barthez for what he really was. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, guys.
Yeah.
Henry made a career out of just smashing the ball into the top corner away from Barthez.
Yeah.
How many times did he catch Barthez like that?
But even Liverpool, they knew, okay.
Yeah, the top corner. You're out. You're done.
And I've got my thing about short keepers, but my point was, our practical joke from God is sort of production guys who want to get involved in the show.
Yeah.
Having countdowns on the show, people can hear it
sound
now.
away.
You know what I mean? It's like the coaches must coach, the players must play.
Honestly.
But we should really be addressing this off air. But I want to make the people hang out with us aware.
Curb Your Enthusiasm,
Yes.
enthusiasm meets Seinfeld meets Idols.
Are we the best show of all time? We're inventing a genre just having our show.
Bro, well,
You gotta love it. You gotta love it. Listen, talking of things that are happening and greatness and inventing a whole new world, I always said, I think a couple of weeks ago we were talking about Sheikh Mansour and what he was waiting to flex like properly. They're like on that Roman level, but on oil level. They're like if it was a game, you unlock Roman level settings. And then when you eventually buy and you have all the wigs, all the sets, all the toys for that franchise, you unlock the Sheikh Mansour level.
Sure.
And now we're starting to see it.
nah, it's
Like, sorry, FFP's what? I mean, we weren't listening to it anyway, but we might as well
I
pretend
saw
now.
a thing earlier, guys.
Yeah.
Pep Guardiola, after this Jack Grealish signing, he spent 918 million pounds. So he's closing in on $1 billion
On $1 billion by itself.
himself
Yeah.
at City.
Yeah.
That's Kardashian levels. That's Kardashian in Marbella levels.
That's what they're doing.
He's done, bro.
$1 billion. Look, things cost what they cost.
Billion with a B, eh?
$1 billion's insane. Although things cost what they cost. Like the new Ferrari, I don't hear anybody saying the new Ferrari must cost less.
Yeah.
Like somebody who I consider an elder and a very wise business person has said to me is, people must stop being emotional. Do business the way business is being done, not how you want to. You want to hold on to your ideals. And I guess, and we saw it with the European Super League, right? Really, what's offensive about the money is that football wasn't meant to be a product. It was meant to be an association of the working class.
Yeah.
And slowly but surely, it feels like it's being taken from the working class. And I think, and maybe I've thought about it too much, us as the working class people, which most of us really compared to Sheikh Mansour are, right, is that not this as well. We got so little left.
Yeah.
The money is kind of muddying it, right? I just want to see that tribe. You bring your 11 warriors or 15 warriors or whatever it is. We're going to bring our 11 warriors. Because this is football, right?
But that doesn't exist. And
No, it doesn't.
It's like do business how business is being done.
Yes.
It's like, that's why there's this weird thing of going, oh, football is for the people and the working class. And, this team was founded out of a cotton mill, which, was all industrialized and just those days' version of today's.
Yeah.
Sure.
But I mean, football's not about that anymore. The football clubs who are trying to run like football clubs, Barcelona, Real Madrid,
They ain't got
versus the
Two
clubs
pennies to run together.
who are running their clubs like businesses that have a football division.
Yes.
And that's the difference.
Yeah.
And run yourself, all the Premier League clubs, they're running themselves like businesses
That have
with
a
a football
football
division.
division, true.
NFL, they run themselves like businesses
Yep.
with a sports division.
Absolutely.
The clubs in messes, they're trying to run themselves like football clubs from 100 years ago. It doesn't work.
And so before I let you in there, Sense, is that such a good point though? I think my point was, people sometimes hear of the United Kingdom and they actually believe like it's, 400 years ago they'd get people to fight for the Great Britain. By the way, that's also just great PR. For those who don't know, Great Britain is just the big Brittany because the French owned Brittany's in France. And then when they took over what we know as the United Kingdom today, is they said, the Great Britain is a size thing. It's not that Britain is great. A lot of people don't know that. So I think, within that is that a lot of England is working class. Like a lot of people don't realize most of England isn't London. Like there's London, even
London's
Manchester.
barely London.
Yeah.
There's like a square mile of London that's London.
100%.
Yeah.
There's a tiny little fraction of England that is this sort of gentry, the guy where Harvey Specter looking, you know what I mean? That the investment bankers and whatever is. If you've been to Manchester,
Working class.
Liverpool. So I think my point was, and you're 100% right, is that most of the English fans still idealize that my grandfather supported this club. No, sorry, we're not doing that anymore, and it's offensive to the British more than us as international consumers, because I think we've got a very clear picture. Is I want Grealish. Don't tell me about the economic structure and what happened 150 years ago.
I want him and I want him for this price.
Because I'm on the gram now. Football's on the gram now. Like
Obviously.
it's beautifully put by Paula, is that it's about that life now.
Of course.
We're in business. Nobody in business, even Roman Abramovich. Somebody wealthy once told me something incredible, and a friend of mine always says it. Listen, let's use the international term. $10 still $10. Just because I'm Roman Abramovich, I got the biggest yacht in the world. That doesn't change. I didn't get here not counting every penny.
Sure.
They don't change. So they're still in business. The Man City guys are coming here we're also not here to lose on the business front. We want to show you that how to do business, chief. Because there's that ego as well. Forget about we want to win football. That's one thing. We also want to show you how to run a business.
Absolutely.
That's why we've got the best complex. That's why when you've seen the Man City complex.
It's ridiculous.
And now they're saying we're going to do that with players, by the way. Because my man, and by the way, can we just give this show, can we just give me some credit? Can we just give me some credit?
For once.
For once. For once.
Just again, my greatest weakness is that I'm too humble.
Yeah.
But I decided not on this occasion. Jack Grealish got a haircut. Shout out my guy. I said to you, what did I say? Because this is step one, by the way. I said to you, my guy needs to pitch up there, clean shaven. None of that long hair nonsense, peroxide nonsense, Alice band nonsense. Because you know what? That ain't gonna work. That ain't gonna work. Because my guy Pep Guardiola says,
he's even sitting in cars.
hey, Chief, he said, listen, my guy, I need that Paulo Diaz kind of look. You need to come here correct. And if your mom walked in here, that's the kind of hairstyle we're doing. Jack Grealish, great first step. And I guarantee you, as I said to you, somebody in his PR team said, Jack, we're not at home anymore. Here's what needs to happen. Not what you get to do what you want. So shout out to me for giving Jack Grealish that advice, but also shout out to Jack Grealish for listening.
But understand, you're a £100 million man now. You have to move different now.
Step 2, pull the socks up.
Yeah, no,
so I saw in the video, little number 10, he's still got that thing.
No, I love that. That's Goeie Costa styles. I love it. I love a player who wears his socks down.
No, I've got no problem with that. I just know Pep Guardiola. I'm saying...
You have to rebrand.
Listen, you know, in life, Paulo, you work with creative. Senzo, you're a creative human. We've got James Ilsley, who's about something called vibes.
Yeah.
Right? Is that you can be vibes and work at a marketing company. You can be vibes when you get to Merrill Lynch. You know what they say? They say, Chief, if you don't have a suit,
get one.
Right? Please don't come here to express yourself. Because that's what Pep, for me, I've always looked at Pep as an investment bank. I feel like Zlatan Ibrahimovic tried to be the graphic designer who's working at an investment bank. And he said, one season, Chief, that ain't going to work.
Absolutely.
I think Grealish is in for a learning curve because I came from a home where I was always told by my mom, I love you and you're special and whatever. And then I went to boarding school. And those farm boys down there said, oh, is it? Are you special?
Not chairman.
I think, honestly, Grealish is going to have to... I guarantee you, Paulo, by the end of the season, we're doing full socks up. I'm willing to bet.
You reckon?
I'm willing to bet almost anything.
You can't get them. Those calves are huge.
Calves are electric.
Because even you see some people like
socks.
Kyle Walker and some players have to cut the back of their their socks.
But Kun as well, dog.
Grealish does have the Roberto Carlos elephantitis.
Aguero had low socks.
Yeah, but Aguero is Aguero.
Grealish is 100 million.
Is it the money thing or the greatness? I mean...
Oh, it's 100 million. I think it goes... I'll cut my hair, the socks stay down.
in the deal,
That's the deal.
in the contract. But let's talk about that.
It's 100 million.
100 million pounds.
Jesus, guys.
Some countries don't have that as a GDP.
Dude.
That is incredible, 100 million pounds. But listen, is he not the next guy, Jack Grealish? Because he's everything you want him. You don't have to worry about the talent. We can kind of, psychologists and Pep can iron that out and we can find a way to hide the stuff. If you got enough money, you can hide what players are doing because there's lots of players that are up to malarkey. But he's the guy because, great, EA Sports, all of the guys, because he does the little things, right? He's still kind of, hey, he's one of you guys, but actually we can put him on a poster and you guys think we like you, but actually, he's just a product.
Yeah.
So he's the next guy. He's the next evolution, looks great, plays great, and we don't have to worry about the talent. Is he the next guy?
Hey, for me, the price tag says it all.
He's the next guy. And I'm even talking about English marketing here. Because at that level, Paulo, I'd love to hear your thoughts. I mean, you work and you're a great strategist. Do you think maybe they've kind of seen that he's the next guy with the kind of the public as well?
It's huge. Listen, every time Grealish during the Euro, every time the camera went on him, the stadiums went nuts. Everyone, you see that one woman, Grealish's wife, 69?
Yeah.
So, listen, I don't know how big a market there is for thirsty middle-aged women in the Manchester City marketing strategy.
Yeah.
But
But we can open a department.
we can have. I mean,
we
it's
can do something
focus
about
group it. Focus group it. Listen. Everything about him should be marketable, and he should be the guy. What very quickly happens if coincide with it, everything else disappears, and City don't get caught up into that stuff. What's very interesting is that, with City sort of similar to Liverpool back in the boot room days, is that a player disappears for a while after signing for City until they sort of like indoctrinated into the way of playing.
Yeah.
So it's almost like don't expect to see much of Grealish for a while because his game's got to be developed and adapted and molded to fit that City sort of mix.
Yeah.
Grealish doesn't score a hell of a lot of goals.
That's the most chances, though.
Creates a lot of chances, gets fouled. It's a very interesting. Even Sterling, when he signed, was closer to what Grealish is now. Listen, City need a leader. They need their next leader.
Yep.
Why shouldn't it be an English guy? Fans love him. Fans, you saw it every time they do it.
I'm busy looking at this thing on City players. Like, listen to this. There's Ferran Torres.
Hold on. I want to go through all of them before we get to the what did you call it just now? The nice problem to have is still a problem. By the way, before we even get to what they've got in-house, there's a whole situation. Because I went to bed last night, do my little ritual. Hey, a little mouthwash. I read on TV. It looks kind of cool. Can look after my teeth, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? Went to bed, feeling good about myself. Hey, I'm going to see all my friends tomorrow. Paula's coming. Senzo's coming.
Yeah. We're going to chop it up.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Chop it up with the lads.
Yeah.
Everything's good. Plus, I sleep on 600 thread count Pakistani cotton. But that's not the point.
And he's too humble.
That's not
Anyway.
the point. It's not the point.
Yeah.
Also, while we're at that, can we change the saying? It's not I sleep like a baby. Babies are terrible at sleeping.
Okay.
I sleep like a middle-aged man with no debt.
Fair enough.
That is the saying. That's the actual saying. Babies are terrible at sleeping. It's one of the things where, listen, you know my thoughts on babies. I'm not a big fan of them as people. I like that people have babies, but babies are up to all sorts of nonsense, no discipline. My point is, I thought I'd sleep like a middle-aged man with no debt last night, which I did because of the 600 thread count Pakistani cotton, of course. Everything was good in my world.
Yeah.
Then I woke up and there is an Argentine who has to file for unemployment.
UIF.
And he used to wear number 10 for Barcelona. Leo Messi, right, is now available. Paulo Diaz, your first thoughts when you read that this morning as you wiped the sleep out of your eyes?
So, while you were sleeping, I was like, I cannot go to sleep. I need to figure out what's going on here. And story broke late. And it carries on. So even what I thought I schooled myself on seems to be evolving. So the full story of this Messi thing, before we start playing fantasy football and getting excited, right?
Yeah.
Is that we all know the story is that Barcelona reached a point where they couldn't register new players because what the La Liga do is you need to submit your accounts a year in advance and go, can we meet our financial obligations for the season, right?
Yeah.
Which is actually good practice for La
For
Liga
sure.
because they're not going to run the thing and then we'll figure out afterwards, then we'll take some points off. They go, no, you can't do it. So Barcelona, listen, you're spending too much on players. This is the point here. If you carry on like this, you cannot register Aguero, Memphis Depay, Eric Garcia, and I think a player called Emerson, which they signed. So none of these 4 new players can register unless you cut your wage bills. Now Barcelona, the majority of that wage bill sits in Messi's bank account.
Yeah.
And they've got to make the rest of their wage bill fit in with Messi. So this is a situation they have. Messi and his father come to a point where they go, okay, we're going to spread out your new contract 2 years over 5 years. Now, we all know the second Messi walks out of the new camp, he's not getting that other 3 years of money.
No.
Sure.
Okay, but that's his problem for down the line.
Sure.
Yeah.
So that's what they go. Messi goes away on holiday, comes back, and he was going to sign yesterday, right?
Yes.
And everything was on the table. In between this is the head of La Liga goes off to America to get a hedge fund to loan him $3 billion.
Yeah.
Cash investment into La Liga to keep them going, to ward off Super League.
Yep.
So what this means is now this $3 billion gets split amongst the La Liga teams.
Sure.
Each team proportionate to your wage bill and your size gets X amount. And X goes to salaries. X has to go into the academy and the women's team. X has to go for COVID upgrades,
Yeah.
provisions, whatever.
Yeah.
That's the deal. Now, within this deal, okay, now, so because of this deal, Barcelona can now register all their players. They
Gotcha.
go, okay, now we've got the money, we can cover. Cool. Everyone registered, everyone done. Messi's going to arrive, sign the deal. In between this, Real Madrid see the terms of this. Now, La Liga went and negotiated this on their own.
Yeah.
No consultation with the clubs. As La Liga, Real Madrid go, hold on a second. And they put out a statement saying, this deal that you've signed, you've included that 10% of future revenue goes to this hedge fund, plus 10% of commercial rights goes to this hedge fund. Now, last I checked, who are the two most commercially viable teams in La Liga?
The business plan.
Who is the most commercially viable person in La Liga? Commercially viable player, Lionel Messi. So you're going to hold on a second, 10%. Oh, by the way, if the default, these guys hold the rights for 50 years. Okay, so if this thing goes sour, these guys take 50 years. They hold image rights of La Liga, commercial rights, revenue rights, right?
Yeah.
So if I'm Messi's family, I'm going, oh, whoa, hold on a second here. What deal have you made where, let's be honest, at least 5 to 6% of that 10%
Needs to come to me.
is this guy over here.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, ESPN also have La Liga rights, which every piece of collateral I've seen has Lionel Messi front and center.
Yeah.
So they're going, hold on a second, we got all the power here. You've got more money. You've got the guarantee of more money, and you still want to do me this weird little deal, 5 years, what? Okay? So Barcelona's statement, very strategically, never went after Messi, said we couldn't do it because of La Liga's restrictions.
Smart.
So somebody's got to blink in this whole thing.
Bloody hell.
So I think it's all bluffing. I reckon the first thing doing, Barcelona trying to get La Liga to go, okay, uncertain, unprecedented times, don't worry about that salary cap for 2 years.
Yeah.
So then now it's fine, everyone gets their contract. Messi's people go, you know that 5 years, you're paying us in 2 years, plus when we go, you're giving us a loyalty bonus.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I think this is all double bluffing because that is a lot of machinations.
Yeah.
Laporta is still out there. We couldn't make it work. This is
because he's busy saying financial numbers and losses are worse than expected. Our salary mass is not leaving any margin. Financial fair play is also blocking us. I can't make a decision that could destroy the club. Boss are the most important thing.
So, but when did he find this out? Yesterday?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Conveniently, it happens yesterday. Oh, Messi, by the way, just take some photos with your PSG friends.
Yeah.
Just take some photos with them.
Love it.
Just in case.
Love it.
So you're going to tell me, 2 weeks before La Liga starts, that La Liga with this massive deal that is hinging on Messi. ESPN deal is hinging on Messi. Everyone's going to let him walk out of there. Do me a favor.
Dude, you've nailed it. The first thing I thought about when Cristiano Ronaldo walked out the door, I said, La Liga, where were you? Where? How? It should become La Liga's number one priority is Florentino, take a seat. What does that guy want? Is it the tax thing? We can make that go away.
Yep.
Yeah.
Is it the money? We'll talk to the king.
We'll figure something out for you.
We'll talk to the... Because when he walks out, what you're saying is we're no longer the kings.
Exactly.
And like already, you're poorly run. It's a spaza shop versus the Premier League, right? Or the whole structure is...
Well, you're running like
Chaos.
football clubs and not like businesses.
Right? Yes, I'm talking... You've nailed it. When you let Cristiano Ronaldo walk away that easily to Juventus... So, think of it. For me, I would have, as Spain, as the crown,
Sure.
somebody should have alerted the king and Florentino Perez.
Said, listen here.
Here's what's actually
happening.
You cannot let because this is what happens now. Because then we can see the American investors now. Those guys are sharks. Like, oh no, we see you. Like Paulo said, oh, you're running. Okay, it's still what 1650.
Okay.
Are we still running
Let's
it like
do this.
a steel mill?
I'll give you this 3 billion, but
Yeah.
hold on, wait for it.
And Paulo, you've nailed it. It's insanity where we are. Is your gut feel? Is he back? Is he back at Barcelona in a week and a half?
Look, Laporta's saying a lot of things now which throw it, and I haven't gone through all of it. I mean, it's like breaking as you've been on air.
I've been checking them out and I don't know, man. It's very sugar coated.
I would be very surprised if 1 September Lionel Messi's not there.
I can't wait.
I do not think this league can afford to let him go.
Exactly.
And it's as easy as them going, okay, salary cap banished for 2 years till pandemic's over.
Listen, I don't think we've... great points. But we haven't spoken about the real news story here. The tears in Jack Grealish's eyes is what I'm saying to people.
Alright.
When Leo Messi arrives with already the Man City 10 on his shirt.
Does he have the 10?
Oh, Grealish got the 10.
Grealish got the 10.
So what? So Jack Grealish is gonna have to wear 9+1.
We're not interested. As Team Messi, we're not interested. We rock up in the Man City from the airport, fresh.
I'm gonna need that.
No,
If he does go, it's PSG all day. If he does go.
No, man. Hey, what's Harry Kane thinking right now?
What have I done?
Yeah, let me get
What have I
home.
done? I need to get home now. Hey, we wheels up in 90.
But we had a gentleman's agreement, guys. Gentlemen.
Leo Messi's going.
Gentlemen.
We'll talk a bit more about that on Monday or Tuesday, because that's going to develop beautifully. Paulo, hey, well said. Senzo, Laporta, all these people making noise. But this is what happens, folks, is that, people always say I'm a rigid person, I like rules. I like rules. Everything you do 5-10 years ago, your life is exactly that now. What you did 5 years ago in your life, all the foundations you laid, La Liga, Barcelona and Real Madrid are not a business plan, and you're learning that now. And it's tough. And it is tough. All right. Coming up after the break is a man who we promised would be on before. But listen, he's doing too much. He's a Cambridge guy now. He played for the Springboks. He went to France. He lives in a bliss. It's the worst. It is the absolute worst having this guy on because he's also a nice guy. But I'm determined as a journalist to find something wrong that he's done in his life. I will find it as well. All right. Listen, like, share, subscribe if you're on YouTube. Click like. We're doing something now where we go away because Paulo's put me in a situation now. I don't know how to go to an ad break, but we're going away and then we'll come back. I don't know how it works. I don't know sort of magic in cameras. See you in a bit.
The Olympic Games may be cancelled again.
Okay.
Says senior Japanese ruling party official. So I also found this out yesterday because I read about another article about the Olympic Games. It's still being called Tokyo 2020.
Yeah, because the logo was just so good. They didn't want to change it.
It's too expensive to rebrand.
Yeah, they spent $5 billion. I think it was $5 billion on stuff.
On marketing and everything.
Yeah, they're not gonna.
I'm so looking forward to the Tokyo 2020 Olympics in 2026.
Do you know what? I wish I was Japanese. I think those are my people. They do not care about what people think.
Yeah.
This is what we're doing. All the best.
Sorry.
And we're the best, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, do you want to drive a Lexus? Great. Drive it. That's what it's going to look like. And 2020. Yeah. And they've got the money, but no, we've spent it already. And Shimi's got a great saying. 10 Rand is still 10 Rand.
There you go.
To them, it's not about the money. It's like, do we need it? Is changing it going to do anything? No, it's still going to be Olympics. Screw you guys.
Yeah, like you said, 5 billion.
Yeah.
Hey, would you do that? No.
No.
So, okay, very cool. Olympics, huh? 2020 and 2026.
You're on the show you were watching. I put myself in a situation here. I've been a bit of a hypocrite. I put myself in a situation because for the rest of the show now, I can't be the person that I was talking about is now going into breaks and coming back is going to be a shambles. because I'm in my own head, and it's not good presenting. It's not. It's unprofessional, and it doesn't belong on the set at all. I mean, I've also promised that the guest is coming now, but that guest is actually in half an hour. That's not on the production team. That's on me. I'm a terrible presenter, but aluta continua. The great Samora Michelle said aluta continua, and I've got to fight through and let my ego say, you've never done anything wrong. It's everyone's fault. Your name's on the poster. You know what I'm saying?
You're a funny guy, yeah.
So since you young kids call it the socials, should we dip into the socials? Maybe we take a few questions a little bit before we bring on Flip, and he makes us feel terrible about our lives. What we got going on social media? Pop?
Well, we kind of touched on it earlier. I mean, Messi broke the internet yesterday, and Boss said, look, guys, he's going to play football, but just not here. So I'm sure every club after that must have been scrambling. People were finding loose change under the bed, they were scrambling.
Do you know everyone who tells you, yes, I've got a Bitcoin, but I forgot the password? Like everyone's got that story. Everyone's now trying to unlock their Bitcoin password.
Refresh.
Jeez, I think we've said enough on the Leo Messi thing, but wow, for football to be here.
But apparently PSG have made the first move. They've reached out. They said, listen here, come, let's have a chat.
Speaking of that, we might as well talk about what that's actually about. And there's probably, I don't even know if Chelsea have the financial muscle to actually get involved. There's probably PSG and Man City, with FFP being
relaxed.
I mean, was it a real different conversation? But let's just say now the line is there's a moratorium in it for now.
Yeah.
Just everyone put the swords down. We're trying to figure a few things out.
There were memes of Pep with his hands on his head, like, oh my God, I've just given Jack Grealish number 10 jersey and I've just spent £100 million.
How do I tell my son that he can't wear the number 10?
Exactly.
But Paulo, financial fair play is relaxed, right? Whatever that means. I think now it's like it doesn't exist on paper now, because I don't think it's ever existed. That's fine. Like, whatever. You can't lie to us. Seferin, the game's not about the people. You guys just want money. Is now like, what do we do about City and sort of Qatar? They own PSG, right? This is what we were afraid of, and I say we, them, because I'm not afraid of it. More money, bring it in. Bring it in. I love it. You know what? We're already a product. Let's take it to the maximum.
Supermax.
Yeah. Bring people in where we don't have to have budgets. Let's do it. Right? But what do you think? Like this, in my eyes, this is what we feared. Qatar, a country owning a team, and there are no rules. They're off the leash. Are you driving a car? By the way, that's Mbappe's salary, because there's oil in that.
Yeah.
That's what we feared. And are we there, Paulo? Is our worst nightmare in our face?
You know, that's the thing I've never understood about this. It's not like City are only keeping money within City. Aston Villa just got £100 million.
Yeah.
So Aston Villa can now buy £100 million worth of players. And the clubs they buy from can now buy £50 million worth of players.
Yeah.
Sure.
And those clubs can now buy
Trickle-down
10.
effect.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a
so
trickle-down
it's like,
effect.
yes, there is this financial doping, but it's not like they're buying from other sports or they're only developing their own players or whatever. The money's going around. So I don't see the problem. You can only put 11 players on the field.
Yes.
True.
City are going to win the league or going to go very close, whether Grealish or Kane are there or not.
Yeah.
The top 4 next season can name them now.
Yeah.
In pretty much every league, you can name them now.
Sure.
You know, I don't think it's City's fault, and they're spending the money. The money's going to other teams, are going to other teams, are going to other teams. So I don't see this big moralistic thing about the whole sport washing. Right, that's a whole different story.
Yeah.
Where the money actually comes from.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I mean, the actual keeping within a football context, I mean, Villa are probably happy, and the Norwich are probably happy because they bought, and Bayer Leverkusen are probably happy, and Norwich again with Cantwell and Buendia. So people are going to be happy, you know.
The only people that aren't happy.
Business.
No, thank you. Yeah. The only people that aren't happy is the Brexit mindset, because there's still the it's ours mindset. You know, it's like football's ours. We invented football. City's ours. Man United ours. No, they're not.
No anymore.
Like, I'm in Africa now, and boy, oh boy, do I love it. So do you know what that means? It's a product now. It's the romanticization of it. I think you've nailed it. It's like the only people who give it this narrative are people in England. The rest of us, it's like, I'm buying a Man United shirt. Oh, I'm buying. I mean, I would never do that in real life.
Oh, really?
Oh, I'm a good person, but I'm buying a Chelsea shirt.
Yeah.
I've got to save for 3 months. Like, I'm not a wealthy person,
Sure.
but I'll do it. It's so expensive. What does that tell you? I'm a customer.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not a football fan anymore. I'm a customer.
Yeah,
And I'll do it.
You're spending your hard-earned cash.
And I'm paying a TV subscription to your product.
Exactly.
And guess what makes the Premier League such a big product? That TV subscription.
Yeah, absolutely.
From Taiwan, from me, from South America, from China. So get over it. Because you know what now? I don't have to watch channels I don't like. I'm going to watch Netflix. And in our industry, you call it sophisticated consumption. No longer will you tell me what to watch, when to watch it. Netflix, you're beautiful. Because you know what? I'm watching. I'm actually going to go pick my socks up because she's right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Whereas back in the day, you know what it was like. What did we all do when it was the ad break? Oh my God. Lord, it's the break.
So you're dictating now.
Because now it's a different world now.
You're dictating.
And I think that's going to football, as we're saying, is that I mean, how many people you know now? You're a City fan. That's interesting.
Yeah, exactly.
That's where we're living. I want to pick my team because really it's like picking a Gucci shirt. It's really, that's what it's become, right? And hey, Brexit FC, relax. Relax. We also want to play now.
Yeah.
So, wow, what a world. Leo Messi. He's breaking the internet. He's breaking everything.
Messi would destroy any club financially.
Yeah.
I don't even think PSG can handle Messi's.
You think it's just the financial commitment within the structures at play?
Because in this whole thing, right, Messi, be a kind of good guy, and if you love Barcelona that much, how about not?
Yeah.
I'm at work here, Chief.
Yeah, but
I'm at work here.
I think Messi, no club can carry that. No club.
You know what I
It's
do?
too much.
Let me tell you what I
Too
do.
much.
Because they did it with, by the way, we've seen it before. Remember when Qatar Airways, whatever, sponsoring Barcelona? I don't know if you know this story, but Xavi Hernandez, you heard of him? Not bad. Some guy who wasn't bad at football.
Yeah.
After his career, he went to play in Qatar. Do you know that, miraculously, he won the lotto in Qatar?
Yes.
Are you aware of that?
Yeah, I've heard that as well.
Now, what is it? Like, do that with Leo Messi. Because if I'm Messi and I'm at PSG, we'll pay you $250,000 a week now.
Yeah.
So it looks good. But what do you think of spending a season outside? Because then they can't look at our accounts. They can't. We can put that in the Cayman Islands.
Sure.
Sorry, I know we're all moralist and perfect on social media, but if I'm Qatar, I'm having an honest meeting. I'm bringing, I don't know, who's the head guy in Qatar, the Sultan or the
Sheikh,
whatever, some guy, the main guy with what's the outfit called at those
Corte.
the Corte.
Yeah.
I've got one of those, by the way.
That's swag.
Shout out to my friends in Dubai. He must come through with all of the whoever that guy in the suit.
Yeah.
Who's the guy? What's his name again? The guy in the suit from Qatar. He's always in the stands. He's the Al Mubarak of. Anyway,
I forget.
You know what I mean? That guy.
That guy, yeah.
Take a seat with Messi's dad. Say, Chief, what do you think of this?
Come through.
By the way, what do you think of 10% in my nephew's oil rig?
For 10
No,
years.
seriously, I would do
For
it
10
that
years.
way.
For 10 years, yeah.
Forget about what you get paid now.
Yeah.
Sign here.
Yeah.
There's $2.5 billion locked in an escrow account. And an oil rig, 10% for the rest of your life.
But that's what Inter Milan tried to do with him. They gave him, so you know, AC and Inter Milan, they're redeveloping stadium, the whole complex and everything around it. Leo Messi's father was given one of the prime properties to develop an apartment block right outside the stadium. I don't know if you know that.
No.
And that was seen as a down payment on future Messi services. So a lot of paperwork was put aside so that Messi's father, aka Messi Inc., owned this prime piece of real estate.
So wait, does he still own that right now?
He still owns it in that whole new precinct, and that was seen as their down payment for one day just in case.
Yeah.
He has a bit of a building for you in prime Milan property.
Hey, what do we know about billionaires? Because what's the guy's name? Moratti.
Yeah.
His dad was, I don't know if you've read the story, because his father owned the club before him, by the way.
But Moratti doesn't own anymore, isn't it? They sold it to a Chinese company.
Well, I think he's partly still in.
Yeah.
Because you know that family. I read about his father. His dad was the OG. The problem. I bet you now we have a phone call with the dad. I'm almost certain of it is. Where are we?
What's going on?
How's the building going? How's our occupancy looking?
Yeah.
And also, we hear your son's unemployed. Do you remember when we talked? Because billionaires aren't your friend. It may seem to
They're
Messi.
going to come collect.
And footballers
They're going to come collect.
I hate to say it because I love sportsmen. You're nothing to them.
Yeah.
Moratti can come calling now and make it very uncomfortable for Messi's dad. Good point there. Oh, I do like the Nerazzurri. Maybe Messi in a...
Nerazzurri, yeah.
Who's playing the number 10 at is it Ericsson? Oh, no, you can't.
That's not Ericsson.
Not right now in this
It's not
environment.
Ericsson.
Who's the number 10?
Martinez?
Lautaro Martinez.
It's Martinez.
Don't worry about it. Oh, plus homeboy. You can do. Remember what they did with Ivan Zamorano and Ronaldo?
Yeah.
9 plus 1.
9
said
plus
it,
1.
yeah.
Yeah. So
Chief, like.
yeah. So
Also, you guys are from the same country. How you guys can work it out?
no, Lautaro knows already.
No,
so
you know, that's hierarchy.
you know what's nice about Martinez? You don't have to explain it to him because at the national team he already knows that the only person who doesn't have a roommate probably is Leo Messi.
Yeah.
The coach doesn't even get the presidential suite.
Exactly.
Oprah's in the Oprah, or what's it? Messi's in the Oprah suite.
yeah.
You guys are all bunking together down
Exactly.
there. So Paulo, that's a great piece of information, by the way. I really like that. So hey, Leo Messi maybe Inter Milan with that. Have you seen their kit for the season, Paulo?
The snake skin one, the
the
snake
one.
prints.
It's the one.
Let's address something before we go to the next topic.
That's Strip Central, bro.
Wow, that's great. What you've done. Hey, Strip Central. Hashtag. James should maybe put the hashtag Strip Central.
Come on, James.
Okay, can he do it? Is he in production?
Make it happen.
Was after worth it? I say no, but let's see. Is the hashtag Strip Central by the end of the show? I don't know. Like, I'm not saying he has to do it. I'm saying
That kid is too cold.
Yeah.
Both of them.
it's unbelievable.
Both of them.
Wait, when you say both of them, there's the cycling kit
No. There's the home kit
and the away kit.
and the away kit.
Nice.
Have you seen the away kit?
A little bit of
snakes on
trauma. I'm with you. Is Nike ever going to make a nice kit for Chelsea? Because actually what the Chelsea kit should be is toilet paper. Like, that kit should just be used as toilet paper and nothing else. It is the worst kit in sport since Chelsea had the Samsung kit. You remember that? How long ago? That's Maluda playing the guitar at 7-1 against Wigan. We've never had a nice kit. Do Nike hate? Who do they hate? Do they hate Roman Abramovich? Is that what it is? Does Phil Knight... We have to ask these questions.
As I say to you, I'm getting down. I don't care.
Phil Knight hates Roman Abramovich.
The major problem what you have here, you see, is that a lot of kit designers go back to the club's glory days
Yeah.
to get inspiration for kits. Unfortunately, Chelsea's glory days
Oh my
are
God.
15 years,
you've
right?
seen- you've
And they
seen-
can't go back to recent memory or
2004.
Adidas kits for inspiration.
2004. Yeah.
That's your problem here. So when you're a nouveau rich club who used to be glory Millwall,
Yeah.
there's very little inspiration for
Yeah.
kit designers.
Yeah.
I'm surrounded by terrorists here. That's
I'm
un-
good.
Working with a
just-
blank canvas.
I'm just saying that's the pattern I've noticed.
Yeah, working with a blank canvas.
So maybe having a club that, you know, was relevant pre-99,
This is
2000,
unbelievable.
2004.
This is unbelievable. So
I'm not a genius.
yeah, you
but
just
I just
you hit
observation,
the nail on the head.
just observing.
you know what? I'm not going to shoot the messenger. It's okay. I mean, now, am I going to cry tonight? Obviously, on my thread, 603 count cotton. I don't know. There's a good chance, Paulo. You've just told a hard truth and a bitter pill for me to swallow. Yeah, I'll move on. You know, as back in the sort of patriarchal man should do, I'm gonna rather than actually address that emotion, I'm gonna push it down and let it become an ulcer, because a man never cries according to 1850 law.
what
You
you
know,
do.
so
what you do.
that's who I am.
Take it out violently on your horses.
Wow.
It's true. Hey, listen, breaking a horse is still one of the most brutal things in the world. People still do it, so don't get sanctimonious here. That's what they used to do back in the 1850s. You don't have to like history. It is what it is.
True.
It is what it is. All right, what else you got for us there, Senzo?
Well, from Messi to the Olympics. Aye, man. This was touching, man. So there was a Japanese 15-year-old girl, Misingu Okamoto. She fell and she missed out on a bronze medal. And then after she fell, her competitors raised her on the shoulders and cheered her on. And yeah.
That's sick. But this is what separates the Olympics.
Yeah.
Like Wesley Fofana broke his leg, you know, in football. Okay, cheers, mate. Meat market. Let's find another one. And none of the players are going, bloody hell, let's go to the hospital.
Yeah.
It ain't that world. This is special, the Olympics. Now, should skateboarding be in the Olympics? Probably not, but that's whatever. That's another thing. This is awesome.
But also the maturity.
This is awesome.
Like, because she's 15 and stuff, like, she must have been very devastated and, like, her world must have come crashing down. And they're like, man, don't worry, we got you, you know what I mean?
Don't be in the Olympics then. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Wow.
If you are 15, you cannot handle the elite level. The Olympics is the elite of sport.
100%.
This Olympics
That's what she's
seems
crying,
like
though.
participation trophy.
Central.
You know what I'm feeling? There's way too many, and I'm not going to get into the whole conversation about mental health. I did a face like that. I'm not getting into the whole conversation about mental health in the Olympics.
Unbelievable.
But what I'm just saying is that, shame, she fell, okay, whatever. If you're 15 years old and you cannot handle that level of competition, don't be at the Olympics. There should be an age cap.
I'm with
18, you know what I'm saying? It's like, don't be there.
Yeah.
Square.
Don't be there. If you're going to legitimize it, this is the elite level of sport.
Sure.
If you cannot handle the pressure.
Yeah.
Because what they say, what I can't remember which footballer says. He says, I don't feel pressure as a footballer. The guy who's working 2 jobs to support 3 kids and barely putting food on the table, that's pressure. Being at the Olympics isn't pressure. Okay? Shouldn't be.
Yes.
If you can't handle it, 15 years old, that's the problem right there. Don't be at the Olympics.
Yeah.
Listen.
Says me who consists on a burger of beer, a diet of beers and burgers.
No. Don't shoot the messenger. It is a strong message now, though, for now, Paulo, is that what's cool is the spirit and the essence of it. But again, I'm not into this world about
Happy
giving...
clappy, the all happy clappy word.
No, I don't mind happy clappy. We need community in
That's
society.
nice.
Like I'm saying...
This is big business, this stuff.
Thank you. I'm not get into the world where I'm going to be told, as Paulo has said, was what pressure is. Let's not give millionaires a soft ride.
Yeah.
Because there is a mother working 4 jobs right now who you've driven past on the side of the road, no matter what country you're in, and you've never said hashtag, what about her mental health?
Sure.
Don't be a hypocrite. And ultimately, what is the saying? If you
Can't handle the heat, get out the kitchen.
for one,
Yeah.
and if you are good enough, you are old enough, and if you're old enough, I don't want to hear it. So I think the message of what they're carrying, cool, but I don't want it to become about a 15-year-old who was brave. Great point, Paulo. Like, then what are you doing at the Olympics? Also, Olympics, why are you exposing 15-year-olds to that type of pressure? Maybe we should ask some questions to you.
So you think there should be an age point?
So it comes to the thing about you saying skateboarding shouldn't be at the Olympics, right?
Yes.
So I think it's cool that a sport like skateboarding is at the Olympics. But what I've seen is the majority of, and listen, a lot of the cool stories about the Olympics have come from skateboarding, right? But the majority of people skateboarding are young, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So that, because that's...
Can't have like 20, 30-year-olds like skateboarding.
Right? It's a young person's sport. So then you go, well, okay, we tried it. A lot of the stories, young people, blah, 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 what are we putting them under? Maybe skateboarding shouldn't be an Olympic sport because the majority of the participants are too young to handle it.
You know what? Only 3 people get to be the medalists. And this is life, right? I know we live in this utopian world of just work hard and pitch up and there's only one CEO per company. Like, not everybody gets... Again, it's fostering this mentality of, I deserve to be there. I thought the Olympics was, can you do this? Come.
Can you do this at an elite level?
At the best.
Do you think you
in
can
the
come
world.
1, 2, or 3?
And the rest of you, ultimately...
Sorry.
You're the losers. And people, I thought Piers Morgan, who I don't agree with often, he said something and I'm like, oh, I thought that was the point, to win. But now it is everyone get along, happy, clappy. No one's allowed to be objective.
Well, you brought up Piers Morgan. I was going to bring him up earlier as well about the mental health. So he had a go at Simone
Biles, yeah.
Right? And he said, the abuse I got over saying that, what about my mental health? He said, you can't have it both ways. You can't say, oh, her mental health, then abuse me because my mental health could also suffer.
Like, we also, it's tough because we kind of live our world, I think, through social media as though that's the real world. It's very difficult to remember that actually most people are reasonable and they're like, oh, these are a bunch of millionaires who, Simone Biles, even if you're going through stuff, you've got all the support structures in the world. Again, I hate having to keep emphasizing this to people. Most people in the world are poor. Like, I have family who work in the geopolitical space. Most people in the world are poor. What does that mean? Is the very mental health you're talking about, there's somebody in Guadalajara, Mexico right now going through it.
Yeah.
And
Tenfold.
it doesn't matter to anybody.
And they're probably working for a drug cartel, though.
But when you hashtag Simone Biles, there's also the social points, right?
Yeah.
And I think to Piers' point in that is, guys, don't be a hypocrite. What I like about polarizing figures like Piers Morgan, something that's almost impossible today, is to take a position. And what I love about him, love him or hate him, I'm not saying I agree. I don't have to agree all the time. But I admire the trait, and there are less and less who can, here is my position, and I'm standing here, right? So you don't have to agree with me, but this used to be seen as, in the ancient sort of Greek times, is that Socrates said, he said, a life that isn't filled with thinking about it is not worth living. Or he said, the unthought life or something like that is not worth living. And he's right. That is to say, have your position and stand it and argue it. Now it's just like, sorry, if you are saying you don't agree with Simone Biles' behavior, not that you're saying Simone Biles is a terrible person, we don't agree with her single behavior in this matter, it means you don't care about mental health and you didn't put the hashtags. Wait, what happened to nuance? Like this 15-year-old, I'm not saying now I hate kids, but sorry, if you're good enough, you're old enough, I don't want to hear it.
Kid falls off skateboard, everyone's happy.
Yeah.
Sort of like every weekend, isn't it?
Yeah. Wait, kid falls off skateboard, medal still handed out.
Yeah.
Is the real headline. Like this. But the spirit of the Olympics is still maybe the one thing I do want to highlight. So, all right, but let's not get too soft about it. Yeah. So, good point there, Paulo. Good point that Paulo doesn't want to hear it. And he's got kids, by the way, so we know his daughter is going to be the CEO of something.
Yeah. Another one, Carissa Moore was the only native Hawaiian who competed in surfing's Olympics debut. Her gold medal win was validating not just for Moore or her sport, but also for Hawaiian indigenous community. So that's a big one.
You know what's happened there is I'm actually a hypocrite because I would be thinking Hawaii should be winning all of the surfing ones along with Australia and Brazil and maybe us.
But Hawaii's part of America, so.
Do they have to surf for America?
Yeah, because Hawaii's a state in
America.
Bloody hell.
MKT Sports, not MKT
Geography, yeah. One forgets that, eh? And, oh my goodness. Okay, so she's a figure for the... That makes no sense. Are there no other American surfers? Like, America's surfing. We're surfing.
But it should be to the point. I mean, there are countries that should have an advantage in certain sports over others. Like, it's quite funny when you watch and you see a Norwegian in the Summer Olympics. Yeah. And they're like, 8th, 9th finishers. But when they go to Winter Olympics, untouchable. It's just like
it's the Norway Invitational, actually. Yeah. I do see what you're saying. So, hey, shout out to her. Listen, it's a cool time for that, because I believe the Polynesian community and that Pacific Island community is really going through it, right?
Yeah.
They are going through it. So, shout out to her, dude. And if she's a hero to the people and a gold medal, by the way, sorry, she's a gold medalist. I don't care what her skin color is.
First timer.
I don't care what her skin color is. She's a hero to billions of people. That's a real number, by the way.
It's the first time surfing has been at the Olympics.
I was going to ask, it is the first time now.
Yeah, I mean, surfing shouldn't be there, but whatever, in the context of...
I think that sort of stuff's cool. So what have we seen? We've seen skateboarding, surfing, climbing, climbing, and I love 3-on-3 basketball. Yeah, I think 3-on-4 should be the Olympics.
Let me hoop, man.
Oh, man, it's the best. And then they mix. So you get a women's team, and then you get mixed men and women, but there's no men's team. Yeah. Okay. So there's mix. It's actually fantastic.
Yeah.
So I think it's cool that these sports are part of the Olympics, making it contemporary. And Olympics are always going to be cool stories and the human interest.
Yeah.
But I just think there is starting to creep in, as part of our society, awarding.
Participating.
Yeah,
everyone's at Montessori now. It's like we're all just drum circle people. Like, what's next? Thumb wars. Yeah. So let's get thumb wars in there because we need to include, right?
It's social distance thumb wars.
Yeah, no, obviously because it's a pandemic. It's a pandemic, and this show will not have people swapping saliva and spreading COVID. That's still a real thing.
How do you play thumb wars?
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Paula, don't ask the questions you don't want the answers to.
Yeah.
All right, folks. Well, that's social media. It'll get you. Who knew? Who knew that thumb wars would come up today? It's a great sport. It's all about talent. And I do have great thumbs, by the way. I got that dexterity. Opposable thumbs, a great piece of evolution. Coming up on the other side, a man who is actually the size of a small apartment compared to me. But he's also annoyingly got double the brains I've got. But then his family's also cool. And he's actually a nice guy. Again, I will find out the one bad thing he's done in his life. Folks, coming up after the break, we'll talk Lions, Springboks, Flip van der Merwe on the other side.
So why should I believe Man United will have a plan for the next decade? You are the things you do, not the things we say. You can tell me all the nice things Ollie comes out and says on Sky Sport. But the reality is, I'm afraid people don't change. The Glazers don't really have a plan. It's just, we'll throw money at it. We'll throw a Paul Pogba at it every now and then. Because really, Bruno Fernandes and Pogba are so far apart if you've got a plan. It almost makes no sense because they really both want to dominate the ball. They really, like, if we're being honest, that was haphazard. That wasn't a plan. You fell into Bruno Fernandes. You gamble 5-6 more times, I'll tell you what happens. Di Maria happens. Schweinsteiger happens. Like those, what's the plan? And at Liverpool, again, is Jurgen Klopp the plan? There's only one Jurgen Klopp. There is only one Jurgen Klopp. What happens when he leaves? And you speak to Liverpool fans, they don't even want to think about it. As a Chelsea fan, honestly, if Chelsea win the FA Cup and Champions League, I don't care if Tuchel gets fired at the end of the season. Is Marina going to be there? And is Abramovich going to be there? Oh, okay, great. Whoever comes in, it's well known that you got to win. At Liverpool, we don't know. We don't know what happens when Klopp leaves. You've got to have some self-worth and don't be needy. And Manchester City and Chelsea are the only clubs in England right now who want to win and are not needy.
Who want to?
We're in a place where we're doing something. I think that's actually the way to do this now, because if I say anything else, I'm a hypocrite from what I've said earlier. It's the only way to welcome you back to the show, is we're in a place doing something which you find entertaining. Otherwise, you wouldn't be watching or listening to this on the podcast. I think that's fair, hey? I think
100%.
we're in a place doing something and you are observing it.
But you're being PC now.
Oh, that's it. Like, so problem is I tend to swing the pendulum the other way. I was like, hey, if you don't like us, get the hell out of here. Yeah. Why are you even watching it? Is that
now
too far?
Yeah, now you're being PC now.
All right, so...
To save it, fall off your chair and then we'll put you on our shoulders. Walk you around and saying, well done for being mediocre.
That's...
Well done.
And literally doing the only thing you need to do is stay on your chair / skateboard. It's the only thing you need to do.
I see what you've done there.
Don't not do that.
So 15-year-olds, they are not getting a break from Paolo because he's...
Just don't fall off your skateboard.
Don't fall off your skateboard. It's easy.
That's what he's saying.
The skateboard's such a good metaphor for life because the wheels move. It's actually too small to kind of be tricky on. You can't be dynamic on it. It's a great metaphor for life. Just don't fall off the skateboard. Like, imagine that was in the school syllabus. Because that's what it should be, actually. Is,
just don't fall off your skateboard.
You know, if you want to be a decent human, just don't fall off the skateboard, especially at 15, if you want a bunch of jamokes in South Africa, a country that Toyota is worth more.
Oh, wow.
You know, she lives in Japan, and
they're gonna
we're sitting in South Africa. And it's going to happen. I mean, she's probably going to buy South Africa now that we've said it. If she hears this podcast, she's probably going to become the CEO of Toyota and buy South Africa and just shut it all down and not care what we do and just let it be Hunger Games. We're going to be Hunger Games, and
we're in trouble.
Hey, not my problem. I'll be dead then. So I've always thought
15. So you got good 20 years on her.
Yeah, 35. Yeah, no, I'll be dead then. I'll be dead by the time she's 35, 40, CEO.
Jesus, bro.
I'll probably be dead. What's the point? I'll be 65.
Turn for the worst.
No,
like,
but death is a
it's
good thing. I live well. Like, wait, don't feel bad. I always say I live well because I'm trying hard at life. I'm going full tilt, so don't worry about it. If I die at 65, I've given it a proper go. Don't worry about it.
Gotcha.
Shout out to that lady just now, though, in case she does become the CEO a little bit earlier. If you can make the Olympics at 15, she's probably a
saw it.
wunderkind. She might be the CEO at 25. Uh-oh, I'm still in my
Now we're
prime.
in trouble.
These are the things you got to think about. Let's talk about somebody else who has done stuff in life and far better than me. I want to start off by saying I will find something that he's done wrong in his life. By the way, I will find it. It may take me time, but you know what? As guys are such ego animals, and I include myself there, is that it's not enough that this guy's just become a Cambridge grad, ladies and gentlemen. It's not enough that he was a Springbok. It's not enough that he's... When you talk about club rugby, he was a part of the greatest dynasty we've ever seen. Now, we'll include the Crusaders. I don't know if the Crusaders dominated like those bunch of boys from Pretoria. I'd like that 3 or 4 years, the Bulls, and it was clear. Anton Leonard said, guys, I'm going to stand at the back every now and then. We're going to maul this thing from the halfway line. And there was nothing, even the Crusaders, the All Blacks, Australia. I mean, they had the proper Brumbies back then. They could do nothing about it. We weren't going to have it. Ladies and gentlemen, the smallest human being in his family. A lot of people saying an embarrassment in terms of that because, hey, we know the Afrikaans community, born while meat was cheap, but certainly one of the better human beings I've had the chance to meet. Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only former Springbok and now Cambridge grad, Flip van der Merwe, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, let's go! The Bokker! Let's go, buddy! Let's go, my mate! Let's go! I love it. I love it. Flip, how have you got that shirt? Is that like your dad's original shirt?
No, not at all. Not at all. It's I actually bought it somewhere before the World Cup in 29, which I had the privilege of watching in London.
Man.
It was beautiful, and it went for shrinking disaster.
I don't want to be this guy. Some people might say because you become a Cambridge academic now, maybe the shirt hasn't shrunk. You know what I'm saying? Could be a little, you know, yeah. Now, listen, dude, I just want to address something. Obviously, people won't know. Is you sent me a photo. You may have been at a business meeting or just having some lunch with somebody. Of you've obviously created a life for yourself now, and you haven't been given that. It doesn't sound like either of you or your brother were given a life. Is you've had to work your tail off. But you sent me a photo of you sitting at, I don't know if it was your local restaurant or whatever. You are living it right now, bro. Shout out to you. Good for you. I just wanted to say that.
Yeah, living it, as you said, we all work for where, and I'm privileged to live in one of the beautiful places in the world.
And before we get into the rugby, you know, we've always...
paid my French taxes, so I'll share the photos.
Yeah, pay your taxes. Tell your neighbors Italy to maybe pay some taxes before all of Rome falls apart. But before we get into the rugby, I just want to quickly talk about Cambridge. Maybe you can tell us, because I love when sportsmen know how to transition. It's so rare. The guys, and I think maybe you can talk a little bit about, maybe your brother was your role model, because I know he's an actuary, and you know, was he your role model in terms of there's a time to be that professional rugby player, but and we touched on it before, but now you've transitioned into Flip the man who is an MBA grad at Cambridge, where it's not a participation game there. I'd love to talk about that before we get into it. So let us in. Let us know how you've graduated and what the degree is as well, or the MBA.
Yeah, great question. You need to answer questions by saying it's a great question. No, I was lucky. I was lucky to grow up in a first of all a family that always strive for a balanced life. So you work hard, you get achievement, and stay humble, and as we do, meet is cheap. So the Afrikaans family, and then also I was very fortunate to attend a great school, secondary school where rugby was important, but the emphasis was on academic life and wasn't cultural life and what goes on around. But it's not if you play for the first team, you're not the champion. You don't just pass your mathematical class. You still have to actually put in hard work. And I think that base set up a trampoline for what happens afterwards.
Yeah. Listen. By the way, the school he's maybe too humble. As we know, maybe I'm the second most humble person on this call. I'll tell you where he went. It is a production factory that has given South Africa more sportsmen than anything. Listen, Grey Bloom is not a school; that's an institution. So, man, they must be very, very proud of you. And shout out to you for representing that sportsman. You're not just like lumps of meat that go and do whatever. You're a whole person, and that I'm inspired by that. I'm inspired by you doing Cambridge. And if an idiot like me is inspired, I'm pretty sure there's millions out there who will see what you've done. So shout out to you, bro, and keep rocking. I'm a huge fan of that.
Cheers, man. As you say, MKT inspires. That is what we should do. And I'm a big fan of it. As all the young sports people out there is, if you want to be more mentally stable, get a balanced life. Know you are prepared for what happens in the future. Know you make your own decisions in sport, and you will be a better sports person if you are educated as well.
I love that. Flip, okay. I just want to let you know before we get into the rugby is that I will find the one thing where you haven't done the final level of it, and I'll actually dedicate a 2-hour window to that. That will happen because you are. It's like, hey, by the way, we got the boys in here. We got Paulo, we got Senzo in here, so they'll have some questions for you as well. But let's get into the good stuff. The rugby. We didn't have you on after that first test, which is a disaster. That's bad production from James and sort of letting it slip from me. But after that first test, your thoughts, how were you feeling about that?
That's the fancy new studio. Makes all these errors happen.
Yeah. That's...
So yeah, no. After the first test, obviously you have to go back. I think it was a rusty. It was what the best way to explain it. It was a fluid from the box, but you could see what happened is they literally learned a lot from what happened, and it was actually quite close. How they played, how they just by the way they played, very close to the game in the first test. Obviously took the lessons out of it, applied it in the second test. A little bit of rusty spice, and all is good.
It is good. It is damn good because, like in the second test, you know what I saw? I thought Rassie won that game in the press. He did classic Machiavellian tactics. Your thoughts on whether we'd actually won the test match before the game even started?
Exactly. You know what I saw in the second test? It's 29-7.
You better believe it.
You better. 29-7. I mean, that was when you played against a team that is actually not that good. You beat them like with 30 points or whatever. 29-7 is a massive score. That's not close. That wasn't like a bad decision by a referee or anything. It's properly beaten.
Yeah.
As you said with Rossi, I definitely think that in the week leading up to the game, he took off the pressure from the players. There was no pressure on the players. No one talked about any player. There was no focus on any player in particular. The British Lions were trying to, keep up with the sarcastic humour of Rassie, which they couldn't do.
Yep.
And then at the end of the day, the refs were better. There were better decisions made on the field. There was fair options to everyone. They listened to the man, the king, Siak Polisi, and great decisions were made on the day.
Yeah, so I know what you're saying. That beating was like what Grey Bloom would give St. David's. Senzo, your thoughts on that?
Hey, bro, they'd be piling it against us, but we don't even play them. So, like, hey.
Yeah, that was, like, I think...
We'd be lucky to get 9. We'd be lucky to get 9.
Yeah, that's it.
We'd be lucky to get 9, so
yeah. You know, in high school, it's like sometimes when we played them, they had some guy called Francois Steyn who was actually bigger in high school than he was at the end at 110 in pro rugby. Yeah. And so... Like, I can't remember what year it was where they just walked. They literally like a big roller. We got 0.
Yeah.
And we were lucky to get 0. Like, we were lucky to register 0 in that game. That would have been what the British Lions felt like last week. Just pummel them down. Just bam, 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 bam. Flip, I want to tell you a quick story about James, who you've met before. And a comparison is that his younger brother is kind of gymming now, like getting bigger. And James used to bully him when they were younger. And I feel like it's going to be the Springbok effect in about 2 or 3 years' time when his brother finally, the gym pays off. So you may have seen James for the very last time in your life. So I just thought I'd let you know that that's kind of happening.
Awesome praise.
Season fees, eh?
I love it. Listen, for the Lions as well, we might as well talk about them as though they're not going to be beaten into a pulp again. They do have a guy who's polarizing, right? I'm not sure what to do with him because that first test, it was the one-man show. It was Itoje and everybody and the other 29 guys. What are your thoughts on Itoje as a player? And is he as special as the British media make out? And what is it about him as a former enforcer that you like?
Yeah, well, I have to stand on the pedestal and say I don't like him actually.
I love it.
As an old school South African second row, I'm not allowed to like another second row.
Sure. Yeah.
But he's that good that he is in that sphere that people hate him. So he's getting that good, and he's very irritating on the field. He's very effective at what he does, his tactics. He is unfortunately getting into a little Carter McCall, little ball where no one is allowed to touch him. He can't do anything wrong. Everything's just everything he touches turns into gold. So that knee on the as much as I like a little bit of the rough stuff. I mean that's just and nothing from it. It's like it's crazy, I might even make a comeback if that goes again.
yeah. Hey, screw Cambridge. What a waste of time. Let's get an elbow into Itoje's face.
Yeah, exactly. So very effective, and I definitely think that's he disrupted the box in the lineouts. Definitely, you can see they weren't settled. He's tactically he's getting better and better, and he gets on the right spot at the right time. And he's making life difficult. But yeah, as you said, he was the one-man show in that pack this weekend. And if you play against the box, one guy isn't enough.
Okay, well said. Tell me about back in your days. You said something. You might make a comeback. That'll be awesome. By the way, we're going to clip that because it's not a day of like proper reporting. Is Flip van der Merwe possibly to make a comeback? And we're just going to put that as a clip and without actually giving it context. So what I wanted to know, because I've always wondered this and I ask my friends who are coaches, but, the role of a number 4 and a number 5, just in the traditional sense, and I know in South African rugby we actually value our locks, is that what is the difference between a number 4 and a number 5? Because it always looks to me like the 4 guys like you is the enforcer and the 5 is the jumper, but maybe you can give us a little more detail for those of us who are dum-dums who just watch it on TV and think we know everything.
I do think, back, I don't want to say back in the day and sound like an old fart, but it was a more precise description, 5 or 6 years ago, where the number 4 lock was literally, there's a brick wall, just run through the brick wall. The number 5 actually makes decisions and makes the line out work. And as you say, there's some people who play the piano and some people who carry the piano. And so number 4 lock was definitely just there to carry the piano. You can see, like in the Springboks, like with the Lions as well, it's much more metamorphosed like into one role. You see all these guys are like ultimate sportsmen.
Yeah.
You see the likes of Itoje, even Alan Wynn, they're athletic, they're big, they can do both roles these days. So I don't think there's particular roles there. But I do think they still have maybe more line-out decision-making time. That's where 4 and 5 might still play a role, but I don't see that is still an ultimate decision-making thing. Yeah.
That's interesting. So you actually think it's just becoming, like you say, almost you got to be a hybrid in both. You got to be able to jump. You got to be able to be smart enough to play. But also, as you said, hey, let's also keep it real. Rugby is organized violence.
Exactly. As you said, it's organized chaos, organized violence. I like that. That's a great phrase. And yeah, you need to be even look at the macros these days, you look how easy Mostert is shifting to 7 now.
Yeah.
All those guys are, you're a rugby player now. You're not a specific position, and you need to be conditioned in that type of sense.
Yeah, I like that. Listen, maybe Senzo's got something for you before we get into the weekend. Senzo, you got anything for Flip?
Flip, how are you doing?
You're good yourself, man.
Well, thanks. So, if you had to choose a man of the series, I know we haven't played the third game, but if you had to choose a man of the series out of the first 2 games, who would it be?
It would be tough. I would at the moment, I would that man Damien Delende.
Okay.
I think he's the best in the world at the moment. He's just untouchable. To see how hard he worked to come back. He was injured. I think he was injured still a week before the first test, and he's just in such good condition.
Mm-hmm.
Same as Siya Kolisi.
Right.
I think the leadership he showed in the second test, and he came a little bit under pressure. Everyone showed that clips where was it Matthew Ronaldo who just refused to speak to him, during the match and stuff like that. So he had a little bit of pressure to perform and be a captain and be inspiring as he was in 2019. So I think to take all that, I'll give my cap to Siya Kolisi so far. Yeah.
All right.
No, hey.
That is good. Touchwood.
Now we've spoken about sister, and thanks a lot. Some Cambridge guy who's living his best life in France has just maybe ruined something that comes around every 12 years. I'm not saying that's what you're doing, but it's possible. So I just want to say, I think Damien Delende is of Portuguese origin. I stand to be corrected. Is Delende Portuguese? Paulo, we got you here to consult on that.
No.
All right, so I've just made that up. Well, that's embarrassing. I mean, poor Damien. He can listen. He can be whatever he is. My point was going to be is we've got a Portuguese guy in here as well, so we're actually an international show as well. Like not just the Springboks.
Maybe he's been to that Portuguese restaurant.
Could. Yes, that's true. Is it Portuguese or Brazilian? Which is a little bit racist on my part. Is that they're not the same country? But what's the restaurant where you go and eat and
Rodizio.
Rodizio's, where they do the dancing. I don't know if you ever go to Rodizio's when you were in South Africa?
I've never done Rodizio's, but I'm trying to. Vasco's. Isn't Vasco's the other Portuguese place?
Yeah, Vasco's is the notorious place down in Cape Town. That's a big problematic. They have something called Castle Lager Tank, which they actually brew on site.
Yes.
And you have to drink everything in that tank that day. So that sounds like something I think we could all be up for.
It's lovely when you get a message you can get behind.
I also have to throw it away. Who wants that? Nobody wants it.
So I just thought, it's important that we know, even though I've completely made up that Damien Delende is Portuguese, I thought I'd tie it into a story. We're in content,
Could be. I can't say. It's not a...
I've never claimed to be accurate or honest or journalistic in any sort of way. I'm in the content game. Will people click on it? Damien Delende, possibly Portuguese, possibly Taiwanese. I don't know that, but somebody will click on it for that reason. All right, listen. Let's talk about let's talk about the real. Let's talk about the action, because you can see. I don't know if you can see. I might as well get the scarf on. You know what I'm saying? I might as well get this going here, because it is that weekend. Let's go. Where's that? Well, listen. I said I'm great. I'm not perfect. Let's be very honest. I could have had I've only got so table on or table to have. So talk to me about this weekend. Is that we're obviously. Number one is we've got to win the battles we won in the second half. Can we carry that on? Where do you see the key battles this weekend? Because I think now we broke their spirits, I hope, but we still got to take care of business, right?
Yes, obviously I don't think you can break something as traditional, as proud as the Lions is. That they will come back up hungry, and they need to fight for pride, and that's it's easier said than done, but that's definitely something they will play for. So I definitely see the changing point this weekend again being the lineup, again being that maul we used so efficiently last weekend. If the Lions by some hook or by some crook manage to stop that, what will our plans be? Sorry, how will we adapt to those attacks from the Lions? And then what they will bring, you can see the type of team they selected. They selected a small attacking team.
Yep.
A little something that I'm very scared of, the little Adams factor, the Josh Adams, the try scoring machine from Wales.
Yeah.
Man is hot like a young boy going to Tiger.
Let's go! Let's go! That's a South African. So for those people, yes, that one's for us. Let's go! Everybody got Tiger. Oh man,
Tiger. Oh,
he's out here like that.
He's having it. Eh?
I hear you there. All right. So we're talking about him as someone to look out for, and so that more crucial. And I totally agree with you there. I think that's something we're gonna have to make sure that we take care of. Just one last quick question is that you know what's been interesting for me. I don't know if it's the injury or whatever, but Pollard hasn't been super on it, and we're still able to dominate like this. I mean, is he still the guy? Is he still the guy going forward in your mind? I don't know if Elton's a starter. He's certainly a test guy because I think he's kicked under pressure, played in Super Rugby finals. But what do you think of Pollard and his development? Do you think he's still our guy going forward?
No, I think Pollard, we're giving that little Lewis Hamilton effect. We're judging him by, he's only winning by 5 meters now.
I see. Yeah. I see.
He's still definitely he's definitely the best. You know, that little cross kick he put in for the first try from PP. The vision he had to take a pressure match like that and still pass by foot. You know, that is world class quality. Definitely a little bit rusty, but I still think he's the man. And then on the bench, you know, we have the legend. If something happens, we have at least 50 points coming from the bench.
You just said a name right there, a human. I'm not sure if he's human or he's a pit bull. I'm actually not sure about it. Mapimpi's game last week is like we're starting to get into sort of, you know, Mapimpi is kind of a late developer, but we're starting to get into world-class territory now. He's starting to remind me of Habana without the kicking game. If he adds a kicking game, flip, we've already got a problem on our hands because he's a fetcher, he's a winger, he's a finisher. I don't know anything he can't do. He adds a kicking game. We're talking about Brian Habana levels.
Exactly. So that's why don't even make him kick. Just give him the ball and make him run. You're good with it. He's so fast. That's some of the things you see, and I'm glad I'm not playing rugby anymore. Man. That guy.
Yeah, he's like a pit bull as well. I kind of, you know, the silky wingers coming into rugby now, but he's like still that, you know, he fetches, he'll get stuck in there, or get an elbow in there. You know what I'm saying?
Don't want to find him in the street alley or by yourself.
No.
It's dangerous.
Talk to me about a result. All right, we're in the content game. What are we thinking? I mean, we only won 29, what was it, 27-9?
27-9, yeah.
It was only 27-9 last week. Talk to me about a result this week. What are you thinking? Is there any chance that the people from Britain do anything against the Bokke this weekend?
Mate, I've heard the Bokke are listening. Bok van Black already started today. They are thinking about St. Helena Bay. I'm ready for this weekend. I can't see them changing tactics to Springboks, and maybe because the gravity of it being a final might play a little bit on the tactics. We are missing Puff. We've got Bokke. That's right.
Yeah.
So I'll give a little bit of leniency so we can go 17-9 maybe.
All right, when we have you on next week and you've got it wrong because now you claim you're a Cambridge guy, if it's not absolutely right, we're going to have to look into your degree. I mean, if you're at Cambridge, you've got to get things right. It's 17-9. That's what Flip van der Merwe said.
I'll do push-ups for every point I'm wrong.
Oh, okay. This guy.
All right.
Let's flex on him. Not only NBA, not only Bok legend, not only Bulls legend. I'll flex on him live in HD, 1080. Oh, this guy. Flip, you're amazing, dude. And I love having you on. I look forward to chatting next week. And hey, good luck out there. It must be. What do the young kids say? It must be nice because you've worked your way to some position in life and you deserve everything you got, pal. I can't wait to catch up on the other side. Thanks so much for your time.
Cheers, guys. Keep well.
Yeah, let's go. All right. Listen, that guy.
Cool guy, eh?
That guy.
Relaxed.
I've done it. Like, those are the guys that you want to be, right? He's not going to talk about it. Cambridge, yes. Bulls, yes. Springboks, yes. By the way, like, you know what I mean? The fact that my father's a legend, I'm not going to ride on that. He's a Bok legend.
I'm me.
Yeah, he's my dad. I'm not his son kind of thing.
Yeah.
And his brother was a legend.
Yeah.
He's a legend. His brother, actual scientist, by the way. How do you get to...
Anyway.
No, it's not right. What does Chris Rock say? It ain't right.
It ain't right.
It ain't right. So, you know, today's been a day. It's Friday. Guys, it's been awesome. Paulo, you're a human being.
Thanks. I was wondering that for a while. I was
Yeah.
checking the... So I'm busy thinking what I'm going to close off with. Portuguese League starts this season. It starts this weekend. First game tonight. Sporting, defending champions.
Yep.
Can we go 2 after not winning for 20 years? Do we get 2 in a row?
Do you get Ronaldo back? Maybe he's tired at Juventus.
We managed, you know what? We didn't lose a hell of a lot of our squad. I thought we were going to just be taken out, but most of our squad has stayed. For now. When does the transfer window close? End of August?
Probably, yeah.
But so far, we're looking good. And Community Shield, so proper football is starting to trickle back. It felt like not long because we had the Euro.
Yeah, that's it.
So
Yeah.
It felt like we only
Yeah,
had like...
they held us for a while there.
Yeah, they did it.
football.
Although Euro, like international football's the girlfriend on the side. You know, like let's let the leagues
Side
come
chick,
back.
yeah.
Yeah, it's not my wife. I'd like to spend time with my wife. I love my wife. I like my girlfriend. You know, so we'll be getting back to the real stuff. Will we watch Portuguese League? Absolutely not. Is Paulo the type of person to force it into the show though?
All the time.
Yes, he is.
All the time, especially if Sporting are doing well. In the Champions League this season, what are we going to end up with that like 5 rand shop called Barcelona in our same group?
Yeah.
I'll take
French
it.
shop.
I'll take it.
It's unbelievable.
French shop.
Paulo, you're incredible. Flipper Namava says 79 this weekend. Senzo, you're also an awesome human being. I hope you have the best weekend of your life this
Thank you
weekend.
very much, my man.
It's the long weekend. It is. It's another public holiday. Hey, listen, South Africans will take it. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is MKT. This is the MKT Show. For now, until Tuesday, have the best time of your life. But for this weekend and for now, I hope you've enjoyed this week. But we are the hell out of here.